my name is Phil Mershon, and today I am very delighted to have with me Angel Lezark of Angel Lezark Salons and a few other enterprises that we're going to talk about as well. Um, so let's get to know her. Angel, tell us about yourself. What are you even up to? What are you doing?
Hi, yeah. Well, yes, I'm Angel Lezark of Angel Lezark Salon. I am a hairdresser and salon owner. I've been in the industry for this year marks 21 years, which
Whoa,
I feel
is
like
that
is
even possible?
yeah, it's very strange to say, but I started when I was 15 working as an assistant in a salon, and I went to a Vo-Tech when I was in high school. So I had my license to work behind the chair before I even graduated from high school. So it's been quite a journey. I have been in probably every aspect of the industry you could think of. I worked with the state board for a few years doing testing. What else? Let's see. I've been in management in salons, and I spent about 10 years in education. I'm still an educator. About 4 years ago, I opened my own salon, and here we are.
Here we are, you're doing great. Business is good,
Business is wonderful. Yes.
and so I want to talk about the education part a little bit. But you said when did you start your own salon?
I started my own salon 4 years ago. I'm in a suite, working independently by myself. I'm actually expanding the business and opening my own salon suite system. Hopefully by spring, the new business will be open. So we can talk about that a little bit more as well. But I know you said you had some questions about education first.
Well,
So
yeah, because one of the things I noticed on one of your websites is that you do talk about the importance of training other people and bringing them up. Can you tell us a little bit about how you go about doing
yeah, absolutely. So I teach you typically I teach foundational cutting skills. I found that um, in my experience working in beauty schools, what I saw most was people graduating from school, getting a license, and being totally fine with, hair color applications and the more kind of trendy things like that. But as far as foundational cutting skills and precision cutting skills, there was a real lack and a real fear among graduates that were coming right out of school behind the chair. So my goal as an educator is to just alleviate that fear and help new professionals and recent graduates build confidence behind the chair when they are cutting. So, like I said, I focus primarily in the foundational cutting skills. I do teach a lot about face shapes and designing to the person that's actually sitting in your chair. Um, because that's another thing that I think in the school system, they kind of graze over face shape and design. So I try to teach a little bit more of that so you can give your guests, your salon clients, more of a customized experience. Yeah.
So, you hit on something that I didn't know I was going to ask you, but I'm going to anyway, or actually kind of tell you and have you respond to it. Um, so I have a friend who she does the hair from does my wife's hair
Mhm.
where we live, and she's been doing it for maybe 10 or 11 years or so. And it's she's part of a salon. She does not own the salon. She works there. She's a manager. And in any event, she told me that when she first started doing it, she came home every night from work and cried because she didn't, not just did she lack confidence, but it was basically like, hi, you're here. This is your chair. Here are your scissors. Here's the blow dryer. Good luck. And she was just a nervous wreck. She'd come home exhausted and not from standing on her feet all day, which would have been exhausting enough for me, but no, because she was convinced that she was not going to succeed, and she had to. She needed. She put a lot of time and effort into learning how to do this, but she was just a mess. And then one day she wasn't, but I mean, it took a while, I
Yes.
mean, months for her to get to the point where she could believe in herself. I think, as someone who's done some training myself, I think that one of the worst things you can do is to just hand the person the tools, pat them on the butt, and tell them good luck.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of what I'm, my goal is to alleviate that pressure and that fear. Like I said, my own experience was similar. I don't think I was even an okay hairdresser for the first 5 years or so of my career, and then maybe 10 years in is when it finally like clicked and a light bulb went off. And ironically enough, 10 years in is when I started teaching as well. So I think um, I was really fortunate to have a lot of really great mentors and really great people around me that showed me not only the more professional side of the industry, but also the right skills.
Angel, you used a good word there, mentors.
Mhm.
Um, can you explain a little bit about how that works? I mean, and the value of having someone
Oh
do
my
that?
gosh, absolutely. I know, just again, my own personal experience, I don't think that I would have been able to do some of the things that I've done. I don't think I'd be able to do some of the things that I'm doing if I didn't have the right people mentoring me. So I kind of look to those people not just for help with technical skills and training, but also, the emotional side of things, the business side of things, what are the right moves to make, that kind of thing. I think having a mentor with you is, you know, there's no other what's the word I'm thinking of? I don't even know. It's just really the most beneficial thing a new professional can do is seek out a mentor.
From a customer's point of view too, I would think that the payoff would be considerable. I mean, when you're talking about the nervousness or the lack of confidence, and I'm not making light of that, but I mean, if you're the client and you're sitting there and the person's hands are shaking
That's going to make the client pretty nervous, right?
a little bit, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
no, that's good the way that is. That's fine. Um, so do you specialize in a particular area? Is it women's hair, men's, children's?
So haircutting in general, I think we're starting to look at it more recently, more gender neutral. So, I have some male clients that I do long layered haircuts on. I have some female clients that I do short clipper cuts on. So I think it's more beneficial to look at haircutting as a length thing or a, you know, design thing for that client as opposed to men's cuts, women's cuts, that kind of idea. But with that being said, my style of cutting is very foundational. They refer to it as precision haircutting. I was trained with the Paul Mitchell cutting systems, and Paul Mitchell was a protege of Vidal Sassoon. So everything kind of stems from Sassoon education, and that's kind of where I fall.
I knew about that with you, and that one of the things that's always impressed me is because I suppose when I was growing up, a teenager, and you become that's around the time when you start becoming self-conscious, self-aware, and you want to look. And the name Vidal Sassoon was everywhere.
Mhm.
It that was the name. If somebody had come into my school and said, "Well, yes, I went to the Vidal Sassoon Salon last night," and this is it would be, no, you didn't. I mean, it was really very, very prestigious, and that continues, does it not?
Absolutely, yeah. I think Sassoon has a number of academies still internationally, and they're still some of the top salons in the world, and they produce some of the top stylists and the top educators in the world. So yeah, they're still a very, very prestigious company. Sure.
You're in the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area.
Yes.
Um, I'm going to ask you to throw modesty to the wind here and tell us, without casting aspersions on anyone else, why should they come to see you?
Oh, that's I love that question.
Is that a fair question?
Yes.
All right.
I think that what I can deliver is just a little bit more unique, more customizable. I think recently, especially among younger stylists coming into the industry, they don't have the experience with more of the precision haircutting, shorter haircuts. They might have a lot of really great experience in, long undone textured layers kind of things, but that seems to be where a lot of people stop and then start to get really weary of stepping into the zone of more creative haircuts or shorter haircuts, and designing to that person's face shape and body type and all of those factors that we consider. So I think that what I can deliver just kind of is a step up from what's being done right now.
I have no doubt. What would you do? This is in the field of unfair questions. This is probably going to be near the top. What would you do with something like this? I mean, probably get that question about 7 times a day.
Yes, absolutely. Complete strangers. Oh, you're a hairdresser? What would you do with me?
Yeah, and I don't think you should have to answer that question for free. We're on the clock here, pal. So but no, I mean you do know this, and it probably is somewhat flattering that people would ask your advice, however much they hope to gain, from that conversation without having to actually pay anything for it. You have a new enterprise, relatively new enterprise that's this close, right? To yeah, you got to tell us what that is, and tell us when we can expect to see that happen.
So absolutely, yes. So the new enterprise is going to be called Pittsburgh Salon Studios. So I'll try to give you the short version of this, but basically, salon suite rental is a business model that has been around for a very long time. However, in the state of Pennsylvania, with our legislation being what it is, it's fairly new here. There are a few really big corporate franchises that offer salon suites. So for you or anybody that may not know what a salon suite rental is, it's basically it's a big building with little studios that are built out as salons. So as the professional, you rent the space, you own your business, and you operate independently out of that studio or that suite. So like I said, there are a few bigger corporate franchises that have this business model within the region or within the state of PA. And I basically took that same business model and just kind of applied my own personal touch to it. So I'm not a corporate franchise. I'm an independent business owner. Yes, it is going to be a suite rental system where people will rent spaces from me, but I will also be working within that space. And I will kind of act as I don't want to say management, like the leader of the group. I only have 4 spaces to rent. So I think that's kind of another benefit of the way I'm doing things.
Well, that is a benefit,
Yeah.
You're not going to be, shoulder to shoulder like in a
Right.
facility. I mean, this is
Yeah.
right. I mean, you have room to stretch out. I've got a place for my stuff.
Right. So I've got, like I said, 4 spaces to rent, 2 of which are already filled. And it's just it's more like a smaller team atmosphere, but everybody still has the ability to work independently and own and operate their own business. So I'm not, taking a cut of that. I'm not taking a commission because I think, at least here, people are switching to the suite rental system because what we're finding is working for somebody else in a commission-based salon. Sure, you might be making 50 or 60% commission, but then, a lot of times salon owners tack on fees and then your commission just kind of dwindles. So yeah, you may be getting 50, but then whenever all those fees come out, maybe you're actually only getting like 35 or 40. And to have somebody kind of dipping in your pockets like that, just in my experience, I don't like it. So
Yeah, that would kind of take away your will to live after a while, wouldn't
right.
it? Um, so you know what the hours of operation of the Pittsburgh
That's
Salon?
also another benefit of it. Everybody sets their own hours. They'll have access to the building 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They'll have keys. They can come in and, if they want to come in at midnight and do a haircut, cool. I'm not going to do that,
No,
but
I'm with you, but is that right? So if it's 3 a.m. and I'm a stylist and that's when my clientele comes in,
go for it.
I'm going
Yeah.
to wonder if I need to get a different clientele. But what are you guys doing here? But that does seem. I love the flexibility of that.
Yeah.
So you have 2 spots available.
Two spots left. Yep. And they're both suited for stylists. So I have a girl that does nails. She's going to be my nail tech. Her name is actually, they're both nail techs, Emily and Tanya. Tanya does nails, hair, and skincare, and I believe Emily does nails and skincare as well. So I have 2 spaces left, looking for some hairdressers.
Wow, that is fantastic. I would be remiss if I didn't bring up something that's kind of personal nature for you, I suppose. But um, you have a beautiful family.
Oh, thank you.
Can we
Thank you.
can we can we mention the kids?
Absolutely, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. I have a 13, well, she's 12. My daughter's 12. She'll be 13 in May. My son will be 8 in March.
Well, I have seen the pictures, folks, and I'm going to tell you that 2 more attractive and handsome kids you have not seen. Yeah, these 2 are wonderful. What are their names again?
Leah and Christopher.
Um, so when is the salon? I know I kind of just brought that in from nowhere, but I was afraid I'd forget if I did. Um, so when does the salon studios open?
So it has definitely been a process. It's I would be lying if I said it wasn't stressful because I don't think
Sure.
I've ever been more stressed out in my life over anything. So, in a nutshell, I signed the lease on the space last June.
Okay.
We had to apply for building permits, which throughout that application process, we found that the building wasn't zoned correctly, it wasn't zoned commercial, it was zoned residential, because there are 2 apartments above the building or above the space. So with all of that, it has really postponed everything. And I'm very blessed that my father is also my contractor. And the building owner has been so wonderful and so helpful throughout the whole process, and his architect as well. So I'm very lucky to have the team of people behind this as I do, because otherwise I think I would have quit. But we luckily got everything taken care of that we needed to, and I should, the building permit application is pending officially, and I should know something more by the end of the month. And fingers crossed, everything goes according to plan, and we'll be able to start the build out in March, first week of March. So with that, hopefully by the end of May, beginning of June, we'll be able to be open.
Well, that's fantastic. I know this is going to happen. Um, so, um, so a stylist right now who is thinking about making a change
Mhm.
for the better, how would that person go about getting in touch with you? I know you have a website that's specific to that part of
Yes.
your business.
Yeah. So either visit the website at pittsburghsalons.com, really easy. And there's a link there to contact me, or you can send me a direct message on Instagram at either Pittsburgh Salon Studios or Angel Lezark Salon, and I can answer through either of those. I don't have a separate phone number yet for Pittsburgh Salon Studios, and I've been getting a lot of spam calls on my personal phone because it's
So this is exciting. Actually, we know how to get in touch with you for the studio,
Mhm.
which is Pittsburgh Salon Studios.com.
Yes. Yep.
But you also have your own uh, website, which is,
Angellazark.com.
oh, how perfect is
I keep
that?
it really simple.
That is very good. And we'll have uh, that on the video that people are watching right now,
Wonderful.
at the beginning, at the end, and no doubt even during this conversation. So what people need to do if they're in the Pittsburgh, is it any particular part of Pittsburgh?
So the new studios are going to be in the Bloomfield neighborhood on Liberty Avenue.
All right.
Really convenient location. High
So
traffic
easy. I
area.
don't know where you go, why you go anywhere else. Well, it'd be crazy.
Right.
Yeah. Um, so do you take appointments over the telephone or strictly on the website?
Um, if somebody calls me, I can surely take an appointment over the phone. Ideally, booking online is much faster because I'm not always great at getting to my phone right away because a lot of times I'm either with a client, maybe teaching a class, or with my kids. So the phone's not always, it may be on me, but it's usually on silent. So I miss a lot of calls. So
Understand.
ideally, the website is the best way to schedule your appointment.
Uh, my last question, and I feel like I've been asking some sort of unfair questions, but I hope you haven't minded too much. So here's the last unfair question to ask. Where do you see yourself 3 years from today? What is Angel Lezark do 3 years from today?
Um, 3 years from now, I will hopefully be, well, first of all, the new studios will be thriving. The girls in the studios with me will also be thriving. Um, and hopefully at that point, I'll be able to start looking into second locations. Um, that's the big picture goal is to have 2 or 3 locations for the new studios, as a long-term plan.
Um, okay, now a totally fair question. Um, so Pittsburgh has this. I don't know if you've heard of them. They have this football team. Um, you know who I'm talking about?
I
So are you
do.
are you a fan?
I am a fan, yes, actually. I mean, being from Pittsburgh, you kind of have to be a sports fan. So Steelers, Pirates, Penguins, whether they're winning or losing, you got to be a fan, right? You got to cheer them on. Um, my, my kids make fun of me because our quarterback, Kenny Pickett, is a University of Pittsburgh graduate. And we actually graduated in the same year because when I turned 29, I decided to go back to school to get a degree, and I graduated a few years ago, 2021, and so did Kenny Pickett. So I say to my kids all the time, "Oh, I graduated with Kenny Pickett." They're like,
How,
"Mom,
how do
no, you didn't. You
Steelers fans,
didn't know him."
how do Steelers fans compare to Eagles? I asked that because I was in Philadelphia about 3 months ago,
Okay.
and you couldn't go anywhere. And it's like, hey, you like the Eagles, right? So, yeah, man, you betcha. Don't hurt me.
I can't say for sure. I've never had any experience in Philadelphia or around Philadelphia fans. But I have heard that Pittsburgh fans are much kinder or much nicer. So
I've heard that as well, and I don't care who knows. I agree with you. Angel, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to talk with us today. Would you be willing to come back at some future time?
oh my gosh, absolutely. I think that'd be great. This was so much fun.
Well, I want to know, how things end up with the studio. So maybe we'll
Yeah,
check back in with you in a month and see how things are progressing.
perfect. I love that.
All right. Well, Angel Lezark, it has been a pleasure, and we will talk to you again very, very soon.
Great. Thanks so much.